Hi, it's Brian. Welcome to the Awards Contender. And now that the Oscar nominations are out, I thought it would be fun to go back to my very early Oscar predictions I did many months ago. I have not watched these videos since I made them, and I can't even really remember what I was predicting in like April and June and August and things. So there were 3 videos I made last year. I am going to react in part to some of the things I said in these 3 videos. The first one was my ridiculously early Oscar predictions video I put out last April. The second is my Barbenheimer predictions video I made like 2 or 3 weeks before Barbie and Oppenheimer even came out. And the third is my very early Oscar predictions video I made in early August. So I'm going to watch a few snippets of these early Oscar prediction videos, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let's start with my ridiculously early Oscar predictions video from last April. But I do think the one movie coming out in April that could get into at least 2 or 3 categories at next year's Oscars is Air, directed by Ben Affleck. It feels like the kind of real-life 0 nominations for Air. Acclaimed director that if there's not like a ton of competition in the fall, it could be that one spring release that kind of hangs on and gets... Was there competition in the fall? Yeah, I think there was. And now we finally have his third feature, Beau is Afraid, starring Joaquin Phoenix. Could this be a spoiler? Could this be a surprise? A movie everybody really loves? I don't think so. Okay. I mean, outside of the reviews just being absolutely well said, Brian. And everybody getting behind the movie all the way till the end of the year. Beau is Afraid feels to me like Men, the Alex Garland film that came out last May, had a lot of buzz around it, kind of a genre movie, and then it just kind of died. It just went away. Yeah. Although Joaquin Phoenix did get the Golden Globe nomination, and that was kind of a surprise. So if I remember correctly, I did a top 10 of films that are coming out later in the year that I think are going to get Oscar nominations. Here were my 10 almost a year ago. Let's start with number 1, Killers of the Flower Moon, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and directed by the great Martin Scorsese. I'm feeling pretty freaking good that this movie will get into a lot of the top categories. 10. It's premiering at the Cannes Film Festival in May. We're finally getting a feature film that brings together DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, and Martin Scorsese. I mean, The Irishman was 3.5 hours long, and it got 10. I don't think it hurts Killers of the Flower Moon being 3.5 hours, as we found out, got into lots of categories. Number 2 is Dune Part 2. Now, this is a second... Remember when that was coming out in 2023? Guaranteed to do as well at the Oscars as the first Dune movie did. I think... Aren't you excited? We are finally getting Dune Part 2 in a matter of weeks. My number 3 movie on this list is Oppenheimer. I think Oppenheimer is going to do very well at next year's Oscars. I know Nolan's last movie, Tenet, didn't do so well. It just won visual effects. I'm already quietly crossing my fingers that Emily Blunt gets her first Oscar nomination. She still has never been nominated before. I don't know how much of the movie she's in. That's awesome. But we'll see. I remember that almost a year ago. I was like, is Emily Blunt going to get nominated for this? She's never gotten an Oscar nomination, and it happened. Number 4 is Maestro, the new film from Bradley Cooper. Unless this movie disappoints, I think this might be the film that finally gets Bradley Cooper an Oscar. I mean, this one did look like it was going to be an awards player. Just based on those first images that came out, that was a pretty easy prediction that Maestro was going to do pretty well all the way through award season. Number 5 is what might be my favorite film of 2023. It turned out to be my favorite movie of the year. Was the stunning revelation at Sundance. Because the movie is so great, The critic. Yeah, I mean, that movie came out in June and it hung on, and although it didn't get into the acting categories, which still disappoints me, it did get into Best Picture and Best Original Screenplay, and I'm very happy about that. Number 6 is The Color Purple. Now, will this new musical adaptation... Yeah, that was the big question mark, right, of 2023. All throughout the year was like, is The Color Purple going to be a huge player? And it only got that one nomination for Daniel Brooks. Purple by Spielberg got 11 nominations and went home with nothing. So maybe this time, The Color Purple can actually win an Oscar. Like, wouldn't that be great? I don't know much about this one. Doesn't look good. Does not look good. Number 7 is a movie I am very excited about, and that is May, December. From director, which did get one Oscar nomination. It got something. Best Original Screenplay. Natalie Portman. Like, I'm in. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know how I'm going to contain myself waiting in line to see May, December. Like, I'm gonna be in heaven before the movie even starts. Even if it's just, like, okay. It's one of the more kind of... I was pretty excited about May, December. There is this picture I took when I got the screener in the mail. That was a very exciting night. My number 8 film is Napoleon. Napoleon from director... It underperformed in a lot of ways, but Napoleon got 3 Oscar nominations. A lot more nominations than most movies that came out in 2023. So, like, Napoleon did okay. It got 3 technical nods at the Oscars. Number 9 is Saltburn. Oh my god, I forgot. I mentioned Saltburn in my April video. How did I even know about Saltburn back in April of 2023? Like, how was that even on my radar? And finally, my number 10 pick for a movie that I think didn't get any Oscar nominations, sadly, Oscars, is The Killer from director David Fincher. David Fincher. Nothing for The Killer. I think some people thought that could get into sound, but yeah, it came up with nothing. Alright, so let's move on to my Barbenheimer predictions video. I think I put it out like the second week of July, not having seen either movie. There are 2 segments in the video where I give my early Oscar predictions of what Oppenheimer and Barbie might get nominated for at the Oscars. So let's see how accurate I was. I might change my mind in the months to come, but as of this moment, sight unseen, I, of course, have not watched Oppenheimer yet. I am predicting that this film will receive 10 Oscar nominations. Not bad. The categories I am predicting for Oppenheimer are Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor for Cillian Murphy, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Film Editing, Best Original Score, Best Production Design, Best Sound, and Best Visual Effects. Best Visual Effects. It didn't get visual effects. For a movie coming out in July, but when you look back at how well many of Christopher Nolan's films have done throughout the years, and Oppenheimer just feels like a movie that the Academy is going to embrace. Yes, I think they did embrace it, right? So it's interesting, in that April video, I was hoping Emily Blunt would get an Oscar nomination, but then in this early prediction video, I did not have her on the list. I wonder why that was. You'd think this early on, I would have just said, maybe Emily Blunt gets in. I think I was trying to be conservative. I was like, well, Oppenheimer might do well, but it is only July. Maybe it'll only get like 9 or 10 nominations. And it ended up getting 13. And I didn't even mention Robert Downey Jr. in that video. I mean, I hadn't seen the movie yet. I don't think I was aware of how strong his performance would be. So he's not in there, and he's probably going to win Best Supporting Actor in a few weeks, which is interesting. Now let's move on to Barbie. What did I say about Barbie? It's up for debate. We'll see how the movie turns out. I'm excited to see it. I mean, honestly, I'm more excited for Barbie than I am for Oppenheimer. Which, I don't know if you would have asked me a year ago if I would have said that, but I love Christopher Nolan. Oppenheimer looks amazing. But yeah, I'm more excited for Barbie. That was the truth. On the night, I saw both movies. Better at the Oscars than Barbie is, but Barbie is showing up somewhere. I am predicting that Barbie gets into 4 categories at the 96th Academy Awards. Best Costume Design, Best Makeup and Hairstyling, Best Original Song, and Best Production Design. Okay, well, I mean, I got those right. Like, I mean, I was accurate that it would get some technical nominations. In early July, I was like, I mean, it's called Barbie. It's not going to get into like picture, director, the acting categories. I mean, I'm a little bit mad at myself in early July not predicting Ryan Gosling and Best Supporting Actor. I think based on the trailers, we could see he had a really standout role in that movie, and he had been nominated twice before. I really came up short when it came to predicting Best Supporting Actor for either Robert Downey Jr. or Ryan Gosling. Those two performances were clearly not on my radar, but that's the nature of the beast, right? You predict things early and you get things wrong. Am I right? Okay, so let's end with my reaction to the conclusion of my very early Oscar predictions video I made around early August. I mean, throughout the video, it's like 30 minutes long. I talk about all sorts of movies and performances that could get nominated. But I remember at the end, for fun, I gave my very early predictions, I think for Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Picture. So let's see how accurate that was. Let's take a look. So I'm not ready to give my early Oscar predictions for like all of the categories. I'm not really going to be prepared to do that until like October, November. I do want to see more of these titles. I had a good tan going on last summer. I'm much more pale right now. Funsies, let me give you some very early Oscar predictions as of now in August of 2023 for Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Picture. All right, so my predictions as of this moment for Best Actor are Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer, Bradley Cooper, Maestro, Leonardo DiCaprio, Killers of the Flower Moon, Paul Giamatti, The Holdovers, and Coleman Domingo.
Hey, that's pretty good. 4 out of 5.
My very early predictions for Best Actress right now are Fantasia Barrino, The Color Purple, Greta Lee, Past Lives, Carey Mulligan,
she got
Maestro, Jessica Lange, Long Day's Journey into Night, and Annette Bening.
Oh, I called Annette Bening.
And finally, my very early Oscar predictions for Best Picture are Oppenheimer, The Color Purple, Killers of the Flower Moon, Past Lives, The Holdovers, Dune Part 2, Barbie, Anatomy of a Fall, Air, and Maestro.
Okay, I got 7. I got 7 out of 10 with Picture. Oh my God, Best Actress. What the hell was I thinking? I didn't even say Emma Stone for Poor Things. Like, how was Poor Things not on my radar in early August? Like, I went on to see that movie maybe 3 weeks after I recorded that at Telluride. Like, why was she not on my radar? That's really weird. And, I mean, of course I was going to predict Greta Lee because I loved Past Lives and I hadn't seen too many great movies yet in the year. Jessica Lange for Long Day's Journey into Night? What's going on with that movie? I think that was supposed to come out in, like, December, and then I guess they pushed it back. I have not heard anything about it. Like, is that going to play at any festivals? Maybe it's going to come out in the fall of 2024. I didn't have Lily Gladstone there because I think in August I assumed she was going supporting actress. And Sandra Hüller, I think she was kind of on my radar. I had read up on Anatomy of a Fall after it had played at Cannes. So I was probably like, well, maybe she's in 7th or 8th place or something. But yeah, I hadn't seen the movie yet. So yeah, that Best Actress lineup was pretty weak. I mean, I got 2. I did call Annette Bening for Naiad. I had just made her Elusive Oscar video. And then she got in over, like, Margot Robbie. So, but I'm very impressed by Best Actor. I got 4 out of 5. The only one I didn't say there was Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. I don't even think I knew about American Fiction in early August, but anyway, so that was fun. I was like curious, like what was I predicting many months ago? And I hope you enjoyed my reactions going back. And now time has passed. The nominations are out. And the 96th Academy Awards are going to be here before we know it. Thanks so much for watching and subscribing. And let me know in the comments below, what are some early Oscar predictions you made many months ago that you might be a little embarrassed by? We'll see you next time at the awards contender.